Victoria just sent me a question. Apparently, she doesn't want to renew her tenant's lease, but she's afraid if she gives the tenant notice that the tenant's going to stop paying rent. So she's asking if she should give the tenant a month or two notice, or if I think she should just not give the tenant any notice. I mean, that's a really tough question because you really can't give the tenant no notice. That just would be really horribly unfair. Can you imagine somebody telling you at the last moment that, hey, by the way, tomorrow you have no place to live? And I mean, that would just be a really horrible thing to do. I mean, I understand a tenant not paying your rent would be a really horrible thing to do too. But, you know, two wrongs don't make a right. And not getting rent would be devastating and really damaging, but not having a place to live tomorrow would even be more so. And then legally, you're on a really bad footing. So your lease should detail how much notice each party has to give to not renew a lease. So I would check your lease. If it's a state lease, if it's a national organization of realtors, those leases are commonly available to the public. And the lease you have might be based upon that. It kind of is likely that it is. If it is, then it likely details 60 days, I would guess. That's really typical. I think 60 days is fair notice, and I would definitely give the tenant 60 days notice, just to be fair. I mean, a month gets a little dicey. I think it almost puts you on a really legal bad footing. Going forward, definitely collect last month's rent from your tenants. That way you don't have to worry about as much about them not paying the last month's rent. Between the security deposit, which is typically a month, often a month. Some municipalities restrict to how much security deposit you can get, but typically it's at least a month. And then the last month's rent you collect in advance before the tenant even moves in. And then at least you have 2 months to kind of manage things, if the tenant does opt to not pay rent. So good luck going forward. Definitely get last month's rent. And, I would personally absolutely give the tenant notice, ample notice, 60 days notice at least, to be fair, and just to be consistent with you being able to sleep at night. But also, I think legally, I would give the tenant a minimum of 30 days notice. Otherwise, I mean, if you're in front of a judge, you're going to have a real problem. And the sidebar to that is you can't just not renew a lease in many municipalities. You have to have a reason. So the reason can't be just that you just don't like that tenant. You have to have a reason such as that you're selling the house, or that you want to get in and renovate the home, something along the lines of that. You don't have to go through with those items, but typically you have to have good cause, good reason why you're not going to renew the lease. You can't just say, I just want to get a better tenant. Most municipalities will actually not allow you, even though a lease is a contract and a lease has a duration, and that duration is coming to an end, doesn't mean you can actually not renew it without having good cause. All right, good luck.